What was it like for a young lad growing up in Ipswich?
Literally, as soon as school had finished, I'd be at a park playing football. Weekends, I'd leave the house at 9 o'clock in the morning off to the local park and wouldn't come home until it was time to come home for dinner.
At 17, you were playing for the first team. How long did it take for people to start recognising you in the street?
Being a local lad, it was pretty quick. People would recognise me because the football club is a big part of the town. But I know where this question is heading to, so yeah.
One person didn't have a clue.
Yeah, it does make me laugh still. It's still going viral all these years, that video clip.
Can I ask you about Ipswich Town Football Club? Are you a supporter?
Actual player.
Player? Well, how do you feel about, we're talking to people about the rivalry with Norwich City. Is that something that you feel at all?
Yeah, it's a big thing for the players that we win against Norwich, for the supporters, because it's a really passionate affair, and it's everything to the fans for us to win.
Okay. So what level are you playing at? You in the
professional, in the first team.
Okay. Thanks a lot. What's your name?
Kieron Dyer.
Really?
I think it was a classic moment, a TV goal, you say. And
TV goal.
People still mention that video today.
Besides that guy didn't have a clue who you were, what was it like when people started recognising you? Did it just become a normal thing?
The recognition I thought I had, when I went to Newcastle and actually played for England, it was like, oh, this is recognition, if you know what I mean. So obviously when I was an Ipswich Town player, we'd go on our lads. So I think my first one was to Magaluf, and then I went to Ayia Napa. And then when I went to Ayia Napa as an England international and a Newcastle Premier League player, then you're like, wow, this is a different kind of recognition. So, and one of the great things I always say about Ipswich is, like, as my career progressed and I kind of played for England and got bigger, when I came home, people didn't see me as a footballer.
Right.
They kind of left me like they just see me as a local lad, if you know what I mean. So that was one of the good things of coming home.
What was Magaluf like?
I was still just a youth team player. I was on about 60 quid a week. It was cockroaches.
Quite far in Magaluf.
Cockroaches everywhere in our apartment. Yeah, it was. We had a budget of how much we could spend on alcohol and food during the thing. It was a great holiday, but yeah, spent about £10 on my budget on the people selling the bracelets and the necklaces on the beach. Right, after my first shower, they went green and stuff. So I was like, yeah, this is very interesting.
Your first away day with Ipswich, do you remember that?
Yeah, I can remember, because I was, again, a young lad. I had to basically be the waiter for all the players, the manager and the staff. So basically for a 6-hour coach journey, I didn't sit down. We had a microwave. We had loads of dishes like lasagnas that you had. So I had to feed all the first team players, make sure they had their drinks, make sure they had their teas, make sure they had their coffees. Then when you just think you've fed and give everyone a drink, you go to sit down and then someone would want another lasagna or another drink. So, and at that time, because I was a young player and I would travel and I would be in the squad, sometimes make the bench, sometimes not, thinking I'm going all the way up here just to be a waiter, not even so.
Crazy.
Should be buzzing that you're in the first team squad, but I'd have rather been playing for the youth team on a Saturday where I'm not being a waiter and I'm playing football. There was times even when I was playing and starting a first team game, when we travel away, because I was the youngest, I would still have to do it all. But okay, I was a waiter, but at the end of it, at least I'm playing first team football and I'm playing 90 minutes of football, and that's all you wanted to do at that age. So yeah, I was basically the servant of every single one on that coach.
How long did it take you to get a seat on the bus?
It took me a good 6 months, I'd say. One of the good things about George Burley is that he always used to give kids their chance in the first team. So obviously when I'd been in the first team for like 6 months, then there might be a John Kennedy or who were in my youth team called up into the squad and stuff. So I was like, you're the servant today.
Passed over the apron.
So yeah. You're the servant today. I'll have 4 lasagnas. 4 lasagnas.
4 lasagnas, 3 cups of water, a cup of coffee, please. And
Yeah, but even then, when you're saying cups of water and that, even then, the buses were stacked with Cokes, and it was when them after the results, depending on the results, there'd be crates of beer and that. It was just like, you would never see that in today's football, like Cokes and tangos and beer, and it's crazy how the game's evolved.
Did you enjoy away days?
I loved away games. I even playing away, and I loved the hostile atmosphere rather than the home atmosphere, which was, I just kind of buzzed of it, knowing that everyone's booing you and you can shut them down by letting your football do the talking. So I did love away games, and I did love a card school, and that's another on away trips you get to get the cards out and have a good old card school. So away trips were amazing. Yeah.
Did you have a favourite trip?
I wouldn't say it was a trip, but when we went to the 2002 World Cup, on the last game of the season, I was on the receiving end of a bad tackle, so I was in doubt whether I was going to make the squad and that. So I was having intensive treatment back at Newcastle, and to acclimatise to the heat in the Far East, Sven took the boys to Dubai. So then when it looked like I had a chance of being fit, I had to fly to Dubai to meet the team. And then straight from Dubai, we went to the Far East. And obviously we knew how big David Beckham was in our country. And he was like, you kind of knew he was like a worldwide phenomenon kind of thing. So when we got off that plane in the Far East, when we touched down in our base, honestly, it was like, it must have been like the Beatles in their heyday, Michael Jackson in his heyday, like where people are fainting, thousands and thousands of people, and it wasn't for the England team, it was for David Beckham. He was like, I couldn't believe how big one human being could be. It was like, wow.
I thought that trip would have been up there because of a really important tennis game that you and Trevor Sinclair played.
Yeah.
No, he was not happy. Tell us about that.
I weren't happy, but he weren't happy for all the wrong reasons. So it was before we played the Argentina game. So we trained a light training session in the morning. The team had been picked. And me and Trevor weren't in the team. We decided to play tennis. Just a little knock around. I didn't think it was nothing bad, because like on a Friday before, I've been in intense training sessions on a Friday before a game on a Saturday. Different managers do different things, and Sven obviously had a very light session. I'd obviously missed a lot of training because I was trying to overcome the knee. The same with Trevor. It was between him and Danny Murphy to be fit. He was in the squad, then he was out in the squad, and he was in the squad. So we just wanted to probably play tennis for money, probably top up our fitness, and we're playing tennis. And obviously we're in a big hotel, and out of this window I hear Steve McLaren saying, "What are you doing?" He comes and marches down and like, "Are you idiots?" And like, what? You've got Argentina tomorrow. You could come on like the first minute. You could easily rock your ankle and get injured. So when you kind of think about it, you're thinking, oh, it makes sense. But then later on, we found out he wasn't really angry that we were playing tennis. It was because he wasn't playing against us or playing with us. So, and the crazy thing about that is that we did get an injury early in that game against Argentina, and Trev comes on. Trev comes on in the first half and
with his racket, his headband, and his sweat,
and he plays really well. So. He's lucky he did get his rest, because I'd have given him the runaround at tennis and he would have not had the same impact against Argentina.